how disciplined you can be, how focused you can be, how motivated you can be, the amount of work that you want to put into yourself now. Everything that happens now is totally up to you.
What are we doing today? We're going to start pulling some more.
We're going to start taking out some of the interior parts.
Get ready to change the interior over.
Yeah, we've got a dashboard we're going to swap into this car because the existing one's all cracked up. So,
all right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Here they are.
Here we go.
So Brett, why don't you run us through a bit of what's here?
This is obviously all the old chrome that was on the car. This is obviously all the panels, inserts that are on the door molds.
Yeah.
So this is just to get started obviously on some of the small stuff that we had. Door handles. So you'll probably see in some of the other videos we'll do when I do the rundown of these, I actually clipped off the springs so I could release the door handle. So I've actually painted everything to the best of my ability. There's more paint on these now than there was from factory. And what I've done is I've just unclipped the springs rather than trying to take the whole assembly apart, so I can move this and open it up, paint it all. Feathered out all the little stone chips that I may have found, and then obviously there was some paint falling off on the mirror, but it wasn't actually flaking. It looked like it had just been damaged, so it actually feathered out okay. There's no flaking edges or any of that stuff. Flaking paint that actually is flaking off, like you can see the clear coat of something delaminating, you can't actually paint over it. It's like a cancer. If you just paint over it, it'll just keep coming off. So if you have that problem, it's best if you start again. But this problem, it actually wasn't that bad. So we feathered it out, the paint's still sticking, get ready to prime over that. We're all good to go for some paint. Hopefully it should last just as long. All your wing mirrors.
Yeah. Geez, they look good.
Yeah. Fuel flap inside and out.
Yeah. No shortcuts here.
No shortcuts here.
No shortcuts.
No.
That's the comparison to the door handle and the comparison down to the door moulding. It's a bit hard to tell at the moment because we've got so many colours here, but with the primer on the repaired sections. But it gives you an idea about how that's going to come together.
Yeah.
And just the day and night difference it's going to make.
Yes.
You guys aren't privy to this, but in person it is Mickey Mouse. Like, it looks really good.
It ain't perfect, but we'll just polish the stuff a lot to make the car nice when it's all done. But it's exciting now. We've got all the little bits out of the way. We'll start on the bigger bits. So it'll really start to come together moving forward. But I think... As you know, I had the opportunity to buy a business years ago. It was about a decade ago.
Yeah.
Now, the universe didn't let it happen.
Yeah.
The timing and stuff was all wrong. I was just in the middle of getting married.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the funds.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. And then here we are, you know, a decade later, full circle. And you're right. I reckon if I had taken on that project, taken on that role 10 years ago, I reckon I would have failed.
The thing is, at the time, you used your best judgment and you went, you know what, this could work and it will work, and I've already been doing it, so I'm just going to carry on. The thing that happens there is that the ball would have rolled down the same track. It would have just been you at the helm. That's the way we've always done it, and that's the way we'll continue. And you might have innovated a little bit. You might have changed some stuff, but you probably would have gone the same track.
Absolutely, and I definitely know in this day and age, and with everything's happened now with history, I know I definitely wouldn't have survived, that's for sure.
You would have had to, by this point, diversified into something else.
Absolutely.
But if you look at it at the same time, you used the analogy before of the timing wasn't right. It wasn't. I don't believe the timing wasn't right. I now believe that that was the universe making the timing wrong to push you away from a bad decision.
Yeah, and it is true.
Circumstances made that not happen on purpose.
For a reason. There's a lot to be said about having something that helps you get out of bed in the morning. So I have decided recently to cut my hours back from sort of 40, 45 to sort of 30, 32. So I can take a leaf out of your book and focus more on my business, being automotive or the paint side of things.
Yep.
And focus on the CFC Collective with you.
Fantastic news.
And work on these projects and our goals more hours during the day. So as much as I'm terrified, I'm not going to lie, you know, it's that comfort zone thing. I didn't have any trouble getting out of bed this morning.
No, you wouldn't have.
That's for sure.
You'll only ever have trouble getting out of bed if you're in regret.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't regret it. I am scared, but I definitely don't regret it.
You don't need to be scared because at the end of the day, like, you're a talented painter. My mind went straight to how can I help you get out on your own, like give you that certainty that I had when I said to you when I started. I was talking with a couple of the guys that I work with who are in car yards. Do you have a guy at the moment that you use for repairs, basic, like, you know, small scuffs and scrapes and small repairs? And every one of them that I spoke to was like, yeah, I got a couple of guys, but they're shit. And then they're like, the octave lifts, and they're like, do you have a guy? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. So basically, I've already said to him, look, got a guy, top fellow, very reliable, great painter, could you utilise him? And they're like, yeah, get him to come see us.
Awesome.
100%.
Thank you.
So there's probably at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 that I do work with already who I'm close with.
Well, I would definitely prefer to talk to the people you trust more. Well, I better make sure that I don't mess it up.
You won't mess it up. You have to make it work now.
Yeah, you're right. For everyone's sake. But I really appreciate that, mate. That's awesome.
So that should help you on your journey, mate. That should get you going.
Yes, thank you very much. That will, again, now that's my brain straight away goes, that's awesome. But now have I not taken enough time off?
I'm telling you from now, you will find out very quickly you need to just go all in.
Yeah.
That's what will happen. And I appreciate where you're at now, dipping the toe.
Yeah.
Because that's what I tried to do to begin with. If these things come together, like, it's not a guaranteed thing, obviously.
Of course, exactly.
But if these things start to come together and you start to go, oh, you know, I'm picking up more work, and you get to that point where you go, okay, now I've got 6 weeks of work, when am I going to find time to do this? And you start stressing about it, that's the point.
What we've been discussing with the CFC Collective, which is another thing I really want to focus on with you, because obviously now I don't have really a choice. We all don't give ourselves enough credit for what we're capable for.
You're definitely at the scariest part, because you're on the precipice of the great unknown. And everyone that goes and does something that's outside of their comfort zone gets to that point or stands on that precipice. Instead of being scared or nervous or whatever, you should be excited about it and just be excited about it.
Yeah.
Because now you have an opportunity to master your own destiny. Like, what happens next is totally up to how disciplined you can be, how focused you can be, how motivated you can be, and it all comes back to the amount of work that you want to put into yourself now.
Yeah.
So everything that happens now is totally up to you.
Yeah, and that's
like 100%. And that's a level of freedom that most people can only dream of.
You are right though there too, because I think there's a lot to be said about taking responsibility.
100%.
A lot can be said there about learning how to take responsibility for your own life and your own actions, and then everything else that's involved, not blaming the world.
It's total ownership of what happens next. Ownership of every situation. So not blaming anyone else for anything.
Yeah.
And now you've taken out like the biggest potential blamer of your life, which is like saying, I can't do this because I have to work.
Yeah.
I can't do this because I don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
I can't do this because of this.
Yeah.
Now you can be like, no, fuck that. I want to do that. So what do I need to do that? And you've got nothing but time to do that.
You're right. It's all about creating your own direction and then now staying focused and sticking to it.
100%. There's nothing wrong with the way you feel at the moment because that is the way I felt.
Yeah.
And that is the way everyone feels. Your motivators are what drives you forward. They're also the thing that dictates what happens next.
Well, yeah. And that's why I'm not scared, I'm not worried, because I have good people like you around.
Yep.
It's crucial, guys, that you have good mates around.
Yes.
Who are not shitting on you and telling you can't do things.
Well, sit back and listen to the conversations of the people that you hang around with and think about the things that you talk about.
Yeah, think about it.
Like, I had conversation with a guy that I was friends with previously, and he's talking about all of these things that bother him, and they're all low-level shit. Listen to what he's talking about, and I compare it to what I'm thinking about, and I'm like, I don't want to be sitting here talking to you about this shit, because it's like I'm past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm only past it because I've worked on getting past it.
Yeah.
I found myself naturally falling back into a pit where he's making comments, negative comments, or he's talking negatively about this or that or whatever situation. Like, it was a really negative conversation, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I actually got drawn into it to be a part of it.
Yeah. You start buying into it.
I started buying into it. And then afterwards, I was like, I realised, or I thought to myself, wow, like, I got really drawn into that. How did that happen? And then I was like, you know what? If I was hanging around this person all the time,
Yeah, you'd be in trouble.
I'd be in big trouble. I'd never get anywhere. And then I was thinking about it, like, I hung around this person for years.
Yeah, see?
And I was like, I realised that not only would I not get anywhere, but that whole thing probably stopped me from getting anywhere while I was in it.
Yeah. You kept trying to step out of it, and they kept pulling you back.
Yeah. You know you're on the right path because it didn't feel right.
Yeah. You'll know that, people. When you get someone around you that you know is not right for you.
It's also about actively trying to sort people out who add to your life or bring value to your life. Like, that only brought negativity to my life at that time.
Which is not what you want. Be a better person.
And you know,
by you being a better person makes everyone around you a better person.
well, it does, but it's also the intent behind it. I'm being a better person because I want the people around me to be
better.
Refer back to Ed Milet a lot. He talks about being the one, right? So he describes it as like living within the matrix.
Yeah.
So Neo in the matrix is the one. If you are the one in your family, your group of friends, you are the one who's going to change their lives, but also change their thinking.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own thermometer. Let's say it's 80 degrees, right? If your thermometer is at 80 degrees, you'll only ever get something that's up to 80 degrees because that's the maximum of what your thermometer is working with.
Yeah.
And if you're surrounded by people, you look at your friendship group, are they people who are all 70, 90, 80 degree people, or are they 100, 110 degree people? And how many of those 100, 110? Like, are you the lower one in the group?
Yeah.
And how many of the higher ones are there? Because the idea is that the hotter the person, from a perspective of mentality, the more you're likely going to try and come up to that.
Yeah.
And therefore your standard will increase.
Yeah.
So if your standard increases, it could be money earning, it could be lifestyle,
Quality of life.
it could be just the language you use, it could be just the way you speak to people, it could be the way you treat people.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it should be all of those things.
Yes.
But if the way that you are moving through life has those things attached to it, you're now the one that sets that standard for your group.
Yeah.
So if you're making a conscious decision to take yourself from an 80 degree to 110 and then higher, part of that is bringing those people with you. Part of that is teaching those people that that's the way, and that comes back to what you said about role models.
Yeah.
You might have had a role model who might have been 80 degree in one point, but might have been 20 degrees in something else.
Yeah.
And you might try to go, okay, well, I don't want to be that 80-20, I want to be 80 across the board.
More consistent. Yeah.
And I'm going to show my boys how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my boys how to be proper men, like how to take this lead, how to treat people right, how to actually achieve goals that I've set.
Yeah, agree.
How to chase dreams, how to do this, how to do that, because those things may or may not have been shown to you by your role models at that age.
Questions? You know, let us know, please, by all means. You know, I'm happy to help. If there's something I can help you with, then let us know.
Yeah, the comment section is there for a reason, guys.
Yeah, we're here to try and help our community, so let's do something about it.
And the same thing about feedback with the videos too. Like, you know, we'd like to know if we're on the right track for you guys, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. We're trying to get the mix right for you guys between us just jabbering on about things that matter and, you know,
building cars.
Actual building cars.
Yeah.
So
the wheel therapy side of things.
100%.
Things that we love doing.
100%. 100%.
Right.